Hey gamers, so there was some news that kind of got out there recently that the former voice actor for Yosuke, who is one of the characters in Persona 4, Yuri, I forgot how you pronounce his last name, but he also plays Peter Parker in the Spider-Man games, and also is a voice in Xenoblade X. In fact, is the voice I'm using for a main custom character. So he's in a lot of games, and he's in more games that I just listed. But he's pretty big, and on Blue Sky, he put out a post that's gone now, but the internet never forgets. But that post on Blue Sky was basically saying how he will not be in the Persona 4 remake, even though he basically begged for Atlas and Sega to let him in. And I have a lot to say about this, so let's just jump right into it, shall we? Now, this is weird for multiple reasons. One, the remake is not even confirmed yet by Sega or Atlas. It's been heavily rumored, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like the idea of Persona 4 getting remade. Like, it's far more recent, than other games that deserve a remake more, like Persona 1 and 2, which technically there were talks that maybe those are getting remade or like ported over to modern consoles eventually, specifically from Midori, who was the Persona leaker, Sega leaker, before it was revealed that they were a guy and then they lost their sources. But I think they got their sources back. I don't know, it's a whole thing. But it was confirmed by them before all the drama went down with them that Persona 4 remake was happening and that Persona 1 and 2 would be happening as well. But I still didn't take it fully confirmation. And even now, I don't really take it as full confirmation until Sega or Atlas confirm that it is true. Now, this definitely leads me to believe more likely that it is possible, but just because he mentions Persona 4 remake, Yuri, or whatever the guy's name is, that does not mean that it's happening. It could mean that he heard about the rumors as well about a Persona 4 remake, and he told Sega and Atlas, like, hey, if there's a remake happening, can I voice Yosuke again? And they told him no, or no comment or whatever, and he got mad and fed up, and that's why he put out that post on Blue Sky, and then now it's deleted. It's because he kind of did it out of spite, because apparently he really loves Yosuke. I don't know his whole acting history, but I gotta assume that's gotta be one of his first acting gigs, right? Like one of his first major acting gigs, so I'm sorry it means a lot to him, this role, and to see it be potentially denied, I can see him getting a little bit mad, and like kind of posting that out of frustration, whether it's real or not, the game. But again, I'm more inclined to believe that it is real because of this post, but I'm just saying that it's possible that it's not real, and he heard the rumors as well, so I don't want to say like, yes, Persona 4 remake is definitely happening. I am of the opinion that we should wait until the official company releases information, because leaks can either be wrong or misinterpreted or whatever. Don't trust leaks like 100%. But still, I can't help but feel like, really, we don't need a Persona 4 remake at all. We don't. There's been again, rumors about this for a little while now. And it makes kind of sense because they remade Persona 3 as well, and they could reuse the assets for that game. Heck, Persona 4 reused assets for Persona 3 originally, when those games first came out. So it's totally possible for them to do the same thing for this remake. But at the same time, we don't need a remake, especially because Persona 4 Golden was barely released on modern consoles only somewhat recently, like 3 years ago. It was very close to now, that we finally got that game, and also Persona 3 to modern consoles. Before, it was only Persona 5 all the time. That was the only one available, and even then it was only on the PlayStation side. It was not available on the other consoles, or even on PC, I believe. Then they finally started putting out the games on PC, and then eventually it came over on modern consoles. But before, it was just Persona 5, and now we're seeing more Persona 3 and now Persona 4 stuff, get milked by Atlas and Sega. But we need Persona 1 and 2. Those games deserve a remake, and to be at the very least brought over to modern consoles. Because they're important games, I would love to try them out. see where the series began, because I love Persona a lot. And I definitely do think it will happen eventually, because games like Radio or whatever, the game that was announced in the Nintendo Direct, that game is coming over. It's a Shin Megami Tensei game, and that's so like way less than Persona 1 and 2, And again, the rumors, although I don't want to take them like, oh yeah, it's happening, but I feel like it will happen eventually, but I can't help but feel like, really, you would rather waste resources on doing a remake of Persona 4 first before them, when we don't need it. We have that game, and I think it's pretty good already with the golden version available on like Switch and PlayStation or whatever. Like, I think that version is already pretty good. Like, Persona 3 needed a remake more, especially because the version we got on modern consoles was Persona 3 Portable. So going from that version of that game, which is like a watered down PSP visual novel version of the true experience, to Persona 3 Reload, was a massive jump. So I feel like that's needed more. Again, you could argue that it was a stupid decision. It was for Sega and Atlus to only bring over Persona 3 Portable and not like Persona 3 FES. But I digress. The point being, I feel like Persona 3 needed the remake more so, especially compared to Persona 4. So why not put your effort and time into remaking, or at least porting the first two Persona games? I know those games are different than the modern Persona games. Persona 3, 4, 5, and even something like Metaphor, SMT5. Like, they're different, but still, I want them to be easily accessible. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of worried of the fact that, yes, it seems like it is real, because I don't think it should happen. I don't. I think Persona 4, I haven't beaten it yet, but I've gotten like, I don't know, 1/3 the way through, and I love it, and I think it's great as is, But let's talk more about the situation with the Yuri guy. So a lot of people seem to think that he'll be fine with this, because he is a big actor. He is in a lot of video games, and people think, oh, this won't hurt his career at all. I don't think it will hurt him that much, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to help him like at all, especially considering he did delete that post. I feel like this is really bad for him, because at the very least for Sega and Atlus, he's probably not going to get any more roles, at least in the near future, from them. It might hinder his overall video game career as well. Probably not, at least to a major degree, but this was not a good thing for him to do, especially considering he is an experienced actor. He's not like a newbie, that accidentally leaked something. This is a guy that's been in the industry for a while, and he did this like really on purpose, it seems, out of frustration. Again, whether it's real or not, it's just like kind of bad-mouthing Sega and Atlus, because he said he begged for him to be in the game. So it's not really a good look. I'm not saying he's not justified in his opinion, Like I said, this role probably means a lot to him. It was probably one of his first roles in video games. I'm not completely sure. Feel free to fact check me on this. But I can assume that it is, and I would probably be mad too. But I'm just saying that in a professional sense, it's probably not good for him to do that. But it's already too late now. Once you post something on the internet, everyone knows, So I guess we'll see what happens with him. I really hope he ends up being fine for the most part, because I think he's a really great guy, and I really enjoy his voice acting roles, in Xenoblade, in the Spider-Man games, and in Persona 4. Now, I am also thinking about the fact that if there is a remake for Persona 4, like, it would probably make sense to recast everyone. That's what they did with Persona 3. Though they kept the same Japanese voice actors, which I assume they would do. I don't know why they wouldn't keep the same English ones, but whatever. People were hesitant on the Persona 3 cast, but I think it turned out really, really well. Like, I really like, especially like Junpei and Yukari. I really like those voice actors. Not that they were bad originally on Persona 3, like, the original version, but I really like those voices a bit more. I know this one is a little bit more hesitant in that Persona 4's cast is like really, well received and loved, like compared to basically every other Persona Persona game. At least it seems like that from the internet discourse, which, you know, could be wrong, since even though people don't like to admit, the internet does not represent everyone's opinions, you know. But at least from what I've seen, that seems to be the case. And, you know, it's kind of going to be dicey for them to recast people, but it does kind of make sense. You know, that's what they did with the Persona 3 remake, Persona 3 Real. So, yeah. Now, before I go, I guess I could also talk about the fact that if it is real, you know, it seems more and more likely that this remake is happening, even though I don't like it. But if it is real, when will it be announced? Well, I mean, we got a list recently of who's going to be at Summer Game Fest on June 6th. It's going to be a whole lot of companies, including Nintendo, which is crazy, PlayStation, but also Sega. So it's possible we see, you know, them announce this remake officially there. It's totally possible. Though at the same time, if it is real, it could still be a ways away, because games, especially with like voice acting, take a long time to record and make. So maybe we'll hear about it like next year. I don't know when we would hear about it, but there's also like talks that maybe we would see eventually, like soon enough, like Persona 6. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on with Persona apparently in the background that I feel like they gotta space it out pretty well, but at the same time it could just be a lot of copium going on, because like, oh, you know, it's gotta be coming out soon, the remake or Persona 6, right? And it's not, especially because like I can see them pushing it out like way later, these games, because they're still milking the Persona 5 stuff. I mean, like only like recently they came out like a year or two ago with the Persona 5 Tactics game. So, you know, they're clearly not done milking Persona 5. So maybe it will come out a little bit later, I feel, but it could be announced like this year. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, my whole point with this video is just the fact that I don't really like the fact that it seems likely that this remake is happening, but a lot of things are starting to come together, especially from this news from Yuri on Blue Sky, along with the fact that I didn't mention this until now, but there was also something like a little bit ago about like a trademark or something, some sort of website link, I don't know, that Sega and Atlas did, where it's a P4R, I think. So it seems like it's possible and likely that it is happening, though I do want to say again, it's not confirmed yet, and it could be, you know, a misunderstanding of the post and other stuff, you know. But either way, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, guys. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, you know, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace. Bye, everyone.